Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Arsenal 3, Liverpool 1 in the biggest game of the season so far. And I tell you what, Arsenal deserve a lot of credit. Liverpool coming into this game with lots and lots of confidence. But Arsenal's game plan was perfect. That low block, that quick counter. And look, they didn't have chance after chance after chance, but they had more chances than Liverpool. Liverpool with one shot on target in the whole 90 minutes. That's never going to be enough to win at the Emirates. And yeah, there were some mistakes there. We saw that. But I think Arsenal did have the better of the game and did deserve to win it. And for Liverpool, look, have they handed the initiative to Man City now? Have they let Arsenal back into a title race? Well, technically it's a 3-horse race, but yeah, I think the big winners are going to be Man City. They win their 2 games in hand and they're back on top. But there's a lot left to go, and I think there's a few things to say, really. Liverpool, Arsenal without Jesus, that was a big problem, but not when Liverpool are playing like they're playing with that high line, and you've got the pace of Martinelli and Saka, and then Havertz through the middle. I think it worked quite well for them, even though they didn't have Jesus. But then you've got Liverpool without Salah. I think that hurt them today. I know they've been doing well in recent weeks, but I think it did hurt them. Szoboszlai is obviously missing. Trent not fully fit. Bradley unavailable to play, sadly. And I think Liverpool did struggle. I thought Luis Diaz probably had the worst game I've seen him play for Liverpool, in my opinion. I think he was just trying too much, trying too much, not releasing the ball quick enough, shooting from silly angles. And I think Liverpool became more and more desperate because the goal they scored really was an Arsenal shambles. It wasn't a genuine shot on goal. It was bad defending. And you take that goal away and Liverpool just didn't create chances today. And that's been something that's not usual for them at all. Whereas Arsenal, I think if you played for another 90 minutes, you just feel that Arsenal would keep getting a goal and Liverpool wouldn't. Look, Alisson's made 2 clangers. Liverpool could look at that. But I think Liverpool just have to put it down as one of those days. And Arsenal have to say sort of like, maybe I sensed, I was doing the TalkSport show yesterday, a couple of Arsenal fans called in, they were very negative. And as somebody who's a neutral looking at it, I was like, look, I predicted Liverpool would win the game. But I also thought Arsenal at the Emirates, they're not as bad as people make out. This Premier League is so competitive. I mean, if Luton can go and get a draw at St James's Park, then Arsenal can certainly beat Liverpool at the Emirates. And so it came to pass. 2 points behind Liverpool now for Arsenal. Puts them nicely back into the title race and makes it more interesting. I think if Liverpool win that game, Arsenal are out of it. So that's how important it is for Arsenal. And maybe that was the difference today. Maybe the motivation. I'm not saying Liverpool weren't motivated, but Arsenal just seemed well drilled. They had a game plan. And Liverpool sort of walked into it and didn't really have any answers to it. So, yeah. Look, with regards to the officiating, I think Anthony Taylor is quite comfortably the worst official in the Premier League. So I don't know why he gets the big games. I don't want to spend any time talking about it, really. I thought the amount of Arsenal players that got booked for dissent was ridiculous. I didn't think Gabriel deserved the yellow card for, basically running alongside the Liverpool forward. And I thought both Konaté's yellow cards were ridiculously soft. And I think Havertz played for them both. And I think the referee bought them both. The red card doesn't change the game, but I just think it's tiresome how in these big games, we had it with Michael Oliver in the Liverpool game with United where he sent Delo off. Why is it that these officials decide to go on these vanity projects in these big games and start... Yeah, the dissent ones were ridiculous. Absolutely. And if you're going to be consistent and you're going to book people for these sorts of things, then please do it to Man City, because Man City dissent, everybody knows about it. They never get booked for it. Ben White, Saliba, just so many people got booked for dissent today. Nunez, they're not robots. When the bad decision happens, they're allowed to just vent frustration for a second or two. If they walk up into your face and tell you to do one, then all right, let's have something for dissent. But I don't want to talk about it any more than that. I think he's a bad official. I think he got a lot of things wrong. And I did think that the Konaté double yellow card was very soft, but at that point, I think the game's over anyway. I just think at 2-1 with 20 minutes to go, I thought the game was over because I just couldn't see where Liverpool were going to get goals from. And I think the best Liverpool were going to get from that was a draw. They got to go and lick their wounds, which I'm sure they will. And I think Liverpool have got some very winnable games now. I think they've got Burnley and Luton at home in the next 2 with Brentford in between. So Liverpool need to go and get 9 points. And I think for Arsenal, I was looking at what their next games are, and look, what's really important for Arsenal is that they go and win their next few games. West Ham away next Sunday becomes massive for them. If they can do that, they've got Burnley away, and then they've got Newcastle at home. So look, you'd expect Liverpool to go and take 9 points from the next game. That's how you respond. Arsenal have got to go and do that. Do I think Arsenal can win the league? Absolutely not. I still think it's between Liverpool and Manchester City, and I'd still put Man City as favourites. But Liverpool just looked like a team without Mo Salah today, and to their credit, they haven't done that for the last month. But this is a big thing, isn't it? I mean, we don't talk about it because it happens and it's just the way of the world. But this AFCON and Asia Cup, Pep and Man City haven't got any Asian or African players. And I don't even know where I'm going with the topic, but it is a big thing. Like, Spurs have had no Son, no Bissouma, no Sarr. And they draw at Everton yesterday. Do they draw that game with those three players? Liverpool have won quite well, but I'm not saying the AFCON and the Asia Cup shouldn't happen. It does happen, and that's the way of the world. But it does have a big impact. It does have a big impact. And I just felt Liverpool today, without Salah, and Diaz was trying to be the Salah. And as I said, I thought he had a really bad game. And I think he's a good player, but didn't work out. On Arsenal's side, I thought Martinelli was electric in the first half, faded a little bit in the second half. Declan Rice, again, superb in that holding midfield role. Jorginho next to him worked really, really well. I don't like the balance of... I think Arsenal's biggest problem is striker and the balance of their midfield. I do not like their midfield when it's Rice, Havertz and Odegaard. I don't really like Havertz. I just don't like him. I don't like him as a player. I think he's a bit of a shithouse. I think he, a couple of times today, he's getting people sent off, which is great, but he doesn't look at the ball a lot of the time. That little thing with Van Dijk's trying to win it. He's looking at Van Dijk the whole time to barge into him. But I don't think he's a good footballer, and I think Arsenal have struggled with that. That 70 million should have been spent on a striker, and if they had a striker, I think they'd have a better chance of winning the league. But more importantly, Havertz didn't play in the midfield today. Jorginho did with Rice, and they were so much better. They couldn't get played through. When it's Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz, I think the balance isn't correct, in my opinion, and I think that's been a bit of a problem for Arsenal. They look better. I mean, obviously, if Partey was there with Rice, I think they'd be better. Odegaard is the 10. Everyone knows he's the 10. Havertz isn't getting in the way. Yeah, I don't know whether Havertz is ever going to work at Arsenal, actually. Just to wander into that, I don't think he ever is. I actually think managers make bad signings, and I think he might end up being a bad signing. Maybe I'll get it wrong, but look, it worked better with Jorginho in there today and Havertz up front, and Odegaard in the natural 10 position, and Arsenal deserved to win. They did deserve to win. They were the better team today. I think any Liverpool fan would admit that. It's a competitive league, and if Man City weren't such a juggernaut, you'd probably take it on your chin and go, we're 2 points ahead of them, game on. The problem is there's Man City in this league, and we know what they will do. So, yeah, well done to Arsenal. Let's see what happens in the next few games. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one. Get your comments in below.